We are now joined live in studio by a 10-time All-Star, a member of the 75-year NBA anniversary team, 2011 NBA champion, of course, Naismith Basketball Hall of Famer, and most importantly these days, the head coach of your Dallas Mavericks. He, of course, is Jason Kidd. Well, let's get into it, Marstein. Go ahead.
None of that kid from Duke stuff. You know you want to tell us. Who you drafted on June 25th?
We love that kid from Duke. Been studying him a little bit, and so that's the answer. That's the real answer. I mean, this draft is really talented. You have some young men at the University of Rutgers, and so it's exciting. But right now, I'm studying the young man that used to play at Duke.
So you guys have a very tricky thing headed into next season, where we all understand Kyrie, the quarterback of the team, is going to miss. We don't know for sure yet, but it's gonna be a significant chunk. Maybe half the season, maybe more. How do you see like how difficult is that? And I know the roster isn't set, but how difficult is that going into a season where you've got an All NBA point guard who the drinkster, as you like to say, he's going to be there later in the year, but you have to plan both without him and then you have to plan with him. How do you go about that? And then the kid from Duke, Cooper, how much does he make that whole situation easier?
Well, I think it's, we understand Kai is out from the injury. And so I think you can look at it as a positive that we know he won't be back until January, February, March. And so to be able to build the roster, maybe looking for a player that can fill that void until he can get back. Also a player that can play with Kai. Also a player that might not play as much when Kai comes back. And so being able to look at free agency that way. But again, next man up mentality, as if you look at the roster today, understanding Dante and those guys and Spencer, those guys did an incredible job when you talk about Spencer coming, to us and having the opportunity to, be that third string point guard, but turned out to lead us in minutes. But Dante, again, when healthy, played his part at a high level. And so it's exciting, understanding we have the number one pick. And if we go after the young man from Duke, it gives us a lot of options because he can play multiple positions. You can have a jumbo lineup out there where you're extremely big. And then also you can go small. So this is, as a coach, but as a Mavs fan, this is an exciting time.
And then you say January, February, March when talking about Kyrie and his potential return.
I didn't want to put a time limit on it because I don't want to be held to, you said January, so we got to give me some leave room there. But knowing Kai, he's going to try to come back soon.
And all positive news so far?
Yeah, Kai's been great, positive. As you know, he documents everything. And so but talking to him, his spirit, he's in the right frame of mind. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's back early.
Let's take a look back for you because a year ago yesterday, your team was clinching a spot in the Western Conference Finals. And obviously, over the last 365 days, a lot of change with the organization, the trade, the injuries, and everything else. How would you describe what the last year has been like for you and how you've had to manage all of this, given what you've had to deal with in terms of the changes, but also trying to keep this team in going forward in the right direction?
Yeah, I think it's, it's about being prepared, but also being prepared, for change. And so I thought the group, my coaching staff, and the players did an incredible job with the trade and also with the injuries. Next man up mentality. The guys played extremely hard. I thought was maybe lost a little bit in the season because it was next man up. B. Will had an incredible year for us. A great story, two-way, turns into NBA contract. Najee Marshall, again, started as a small forward, played power forward, maybe played a little center there, and then ended up being our point guard. And so there was a lot of positive stories. Understanding, the trade took a lot of that away from what the positives were. But again, the guys played extremely hard. My coaching staff continue to push forward. And I thought, we had to continue to keep pushing forward. If we didn't, and we asked, if we had someone, our season would have never got to where we were, and that was to be able to play in the play-in game.
The Suns might steal Sean Sweeney from that coaching staff. We're going to have to see how that turns out.
I think it's great that the coaching staff between Sweeney and Dudds got interviews. I think that just shows the depth of the coaching staff. As much as we talked about the depth of our team, our coaching staff is now starting to get recognized for their talent, and Sean has made it to the second round, and I'm excited. Hopefully he does end up as the head coach of the Phoenix Suns, because it would be a great story.
When you watch film of Cooper, what do you see?
I see a young man who's only 18 years old who can do a lot of things. One, he won't be 19 until December, which is really surprising. But I think when you talk about being able to play 2 through 4, and in today's game, you might be able to sneak him around the 5 if we're going to label him as a position player. But maybe there's still some growth. Only being 18, he could, still grow here. But I think you can play him, at the 2, his ability to shoot the ball, to be able to put it on the floor. Again, as I talked about, we can have a big group out there that could start.
When you look at not just what this organization has gone through with the season, having now won the NBA draft lottery, you and Nico Harrison have been joined at the hip since joining this team 4+ years ago. How would you describe your relationship with him at this point, even since February 1st and everything that's taken place since then? How would you describe your relationship and where that is now as you guys try to move forward with this team, given what you guys have gone through?
Yeah, I think my relationship with Nico is at a high. Understanding business is part of the game of basketball. I've been a part of it as a player and coach, and so understanding the vision of winning a championship is what Nico's here to do, and I'm in full support of that. And so I'm excited about what the summer holds for us, having the number 1 pick, but not just that, but hopefully there's some free agents out there that would, want to come to Dallas, and we believe that we will be attractive this summer.
How much postseason have you been watching?
Postseason?
Playoffs, yeah.
A little. I love the physicality of what's taking place with the league. You have some old school scores in there, 92 to 87. It's kind of like the San Antonio, New Jersey days in the finals. But I love the physicality. I love that the players are making plays. You guys talked about AC earlier, guarding the Joker. He's a competitor. When you talk about winning, this time of the year, it's doing the little things, and you can see that right now.
You guys, obviously, and you're just talking about this, you're committing to big ball. You're committing to jumbo. You're talking about Cooper, a 6'8" kid, maybe playing the 2. This is very clearly the top-down direction and of the team right now, of the way the roster is going. When you look at the 4 teams in the conference finals, now all finalized, does that confirm or affirm, this direction? Do you see these teams that are having success in the NBA playoffs? Do you see it coming from the bigs? Certainly some double bigs lineups out there. Is that, just like how does the way you guys have built the roster, how does that reflect, or do you think it reflects in the teams that are still alive?
Yeah, I think when you look at stars, you got to have stars in length, and you have to be able to, not just rely on one guy. And so being able to have depth, your role players have to play as stars. And so we believe that our roster has that when you look at PJ and the things that he has done for us since the trade. Gafford, role players that play at extremely high level. And so we truly believe that we are built to win a championship going forward. And we're excited about not just this summer, but next season.
I got to keep asking about Cooper because it's been a week, and I still cannot believe that the Mavericks of Dallas won the number 1 overall pick, finally moved up in the lottery. So we know in the near future, you guys will have some time with him, yes, whether you visit him or he comes here. You already know, everybody knows who you guys want to draft. What do you hope to get out of those visits? What's a question that you would want to ask Cooper Flagg when you have that chance?
Well, I think it's just about, the sooner the better that we can get to know him and he gets to know us. As much as we can bring him here to Dallas and we have 48 hours with him. We want to be able to ask him questions. We want to get to know not just him, but his parents, to understand that the family is important to know. And he's been raised by two incredible parents. And so to be able to get to know them at lunch, at dinner, ask them about their son as much as we're going to talk to Cooper or that kid from Duke. Sorry. It's just
the league's not watching. Don't worry.
Yeah, they're watching for sure. Trust me. This is dealing with the Mavs. But I think when you talk about getting to know the family, and that's what hopefully we can get that opportunity. We'll have that opportunity in the coming weeks.
You've been in his position. I mean, what do you remember about what it was like in 1994 when a team? Okay, you went second overall, but a team drafts you, expecting you to change the course of the whole franchise. What is that like when you're, and like you said, he's 2-3 years younger than you?
Yeah, I think it's a dream come true. Remembering Norm Sanju and Keith Grant and Mr. and Mrs. C being able to meet the owners, to be able to go to lunch and dinner. It's just surreal because it's a dream come true because you get to see these guys on TV, you get to work out with them, and now to be part of the fraternity. This is something that you dream about as a kid, and for it to come true, you just can't wait for your name to be called. I had to wait for Glenn Robinson, and then hoping that I beat Grant. So I got lucky to be number 2, but whoever is number 1 won't have to waste any time because it's going to be quick. So I'm excited for this young man to have his dreams come true and then help him achieve those goals, and that's to be the best in the world.
So kind of a two-part question for you when it comes to not just the future of this franchise, but also thinking about how the philosophy of the franchise has changed, going to the kind of lineups that you have, acquiring Anthony Davis. Was there a point in time or something that shifted within the organization, whether it be from you or from Nico, that decided, hey, we need to switch the kind of direction that we want to go down in terms of being a championship team, and this is how we need to get there to do it? And for those who are still maybe frustrated about the trade or even in the euphoria of winning the lottery, what would you say to fans about how the direction of the franchise is going? What would your message be to them?
Yeah, I think I can truly understand the frustration or the hurt of the trade, right? Luka is one of the best in the world, and he was here. He played at a high level, and all of a sudden there is a change. And so understanding the frustration, but we have to move forward. And there is a draft, and there will be another season. And we truly believe that we have the best fans, and we would love for them to support us, not just this summer, but going forward, and that we are trying to win a championship. We won one in 2011, and we plan on winning another one here shortly.
Did you anticipate the fan reaction to be this, though, as big as it was?
It was big. I mean, again, I've always said this, the fans have a right. They pay money. They're very supportive. We have the best fans in the league, if not in the world. And so understanding they express themselves, but I would hopefully ask them that, can we move forward? Because we need their support to win a championship. And again, just understanding, was it big? Yes. But I think the championship, the parade will be bigger. And so that's what we're looking forward to.
Shot creation, how big a concern is it right now? I mean, obviously there's the excitement of you win the lottery, you've got the number 1 pick, but you look at this roster and it's hard to see right now where that is going to come from.
Yeah, I think, causing a problem when you can get double teamed, and that's what we believe. AD is one that will cause a problem. We believe like PJ is going to get better, being able to knock down the 3. Being able to play faster. As much as we're going to be bigger, can we play faster? Taking advantage of that. And so I think when you look at, Clay, I thought, again, we didn't bring him up. I thought he had an incredible season, not just on the floor, but in the locker room, being a vet, because there was so much speculation of him wanting not to be here, but he was nothing but a true pro. And so when you talk about creating shots, you can look at being different because we are bigger and we'll be able to create those double teams. Now, we just have to be consistent on being able to knock down, wide open shots just like anybody else in this league.
And sorry for keep bringing it back to the young man from Duke, but I can't resist.
That's
You
all right.
obviously have Coach K didn't coach him, but there's a long-standing relationship between you and Coach K. So what kind of resource can that be to kind of get the Duke files on him?
Well, the Duke Mafia, there's a lot of people that I do know. So Coach K being one of them.
Grant Hill being another one.
Grant Hill being another one. And also Coach Shire, I think being able to reach out and talk to him, again, understanding Coach K got to see the young man a lot. And so just being able to pick his brain, ask questions, but also, Grant Hill, there's a lot of guys that have gone to Duke that I've become close to. And so hopefully they can give me some insight.
Of course, you and Grant Hill will forever be tied together, being co-rookies of the year back in 1994-95 during that particular season. Of course, we're joined by head coach Jason Kidd here on the DLLS Mavs podcast. As we get ready to close here, one of the words that you used to describe this season was incredible, given everything that happened throughout the season. When you look back on this season, how will you remember it now that you're looking forward to what is going to potentially happen on June 25th with the selection of the young man from Duke? How will you remember this season as you look back on it, given everything you guys went through?
Yeah, when I used the word incredible, I just thought there was, 4 or 5 seasons wrapped into one. When you talk about just the injuries, the trade, the injuries, the injuries. And so just understanding the fight, there was no quit in that locker room. And so we learned a lot. We pushed forward. I know we used the word next man up and almost ran out of next man up. But I thought, we're trying to win, and there is no quit. We're going to fight to the end, and I was very proud of those young men in that locker room, and especially to my staff too, for putting those guys in a position to be successful.
Well, Jason, we appreciate your time here on the DLLS Mavs podcast. We know that you have an extremely busy schedule, especially during this time of the year, as you and your team prepare for the NBA draft and on June 25th. So we appreciate you taking the time with us here on DLLS Sports Deals to join us on the podcast.
Need to say, and he insisted on coming in here. We offered him to do it remotely, and he insisted on coming in. So
I wanted to come in. I got to see you guys up close. This is incredible. Thanks for having me.
Jason, one final closing question. Roughly how many fitted hats do you own? Distinct, different Mavericks ones?
Too many.
Too many.
Too many. Great question, but that's a 30 to 40.
It's got to be more than that, it feels like.
I'm going on the low.
Got to get him a DLLS hat.
Man, those hats are sweet. Those hats are sweet. Or a T-shirt. Let me rock a T-shirt.
We're going to hook you up. We're going to hook you up with some merch, for sure.
All
Don't you worry about that.
I appreciate
Jason,
it.
we appreciate the time, man. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.